In today's video, I'm going to show you one indicator that does everything for you in one click, from fair value gaps, inverse fair value gaps, order blocks, breaker blocks, liquidity grabs, time frames, and market structure. So make sure you stay to the end of the video so you can see what this one indicator does. Alright, so the first thing you want to do, you want to go to your indicators right over here and you want to type in Flux charts price action toolkit, and it's this one here. Disclaimer, it is a paid indicator, it is not a free indicator. Let me show you what this indicator does. So you're going to add this to your chart. Alright, so I'm just going to show you in detail what this indicator can do, and then you can go try this out by yourself as well. Link is in the description for this indicator. Go have a look at Flux charts on the website and then look what they have to offer to make your trading analysis a lot more efficient and a lot more cleaner. Alright, so let's start with fair value gaps. Now let's activate this indicator. As you can see, I only activated the fair value gap. So during the course of the video, I'm going to go through each and every setting that's going to help you with your analysis. So for example, alright, so for the first one, I activated fair value gaps. Detection method is going to be all. Invalidation method, I chose close. And sensitivity, I chose 2. So let's have a look how this looks on the chart. Like you can see here, created a nice fair value gap, price retest came down. Huge one right over here, fair value gap was created, had a test, push up, came back to the zone, pushed up again, created another fair value gap, got tested right over here. Currently we are not respecting this one, so if price close above this one right over here, then this fair value gap will disappear. So this is number one, fair value gap. So the higher you put it, let's say sensitivity, the less it will show. The lower you put it, the more fair value gaps it shows. So I like it between 2 and 4. It all depends on which time frame you are as well. I will come to the time frames later on. But as you can see, this is a nice indicator that plots out your fair value gaps. Now, let's say you are not a fair value gap trader. You can disable your fair value gaps and you can enable your inverse fair value gaps. So now it's going to show your inverse fair value gaps. So if you are an ICT trader that trades like liquidity and a market structure shift right over here, then you will see inverse fair value gap was created, price reacted from it, and we had a push down. Same right over here. This is another example. Liquidity, for example, has been taken. We had a market structure shift. Price created an inverse fair value gap. As you can see, it respected this beautifully and we went all the way up. So as price came down, we created these inverse fair value gaps right over here. And currently this is price. So this price action toolkit from Flux charts literally has everything. I'm going to go through everything and then I'm going to show you how we're going to put all of this together. So let's say you are an order block trader. Then you enable the order blocks. Here you can see it draws out the order blocks. Let's say, for example, you want to see more order blocks, then you make the sensitivity lower. And then it will come to your most recent order blocks. As you can see right over here, order block was created. It even shows you the buy and sell pressure of this zone. So here you can clearly see there was more sellers here when the order block was created. Price reacted from it. Same with this one here, more buyers than sellers reacted from this. So these are the settings for the order blocks that I like. You can play around with the sensitivity. You can even put in a midline. So if you like your midline, it drags this midline out on your order blocks. Now, let's say we want to trade breaker blocks. In validation mode, I like to put everything on close. Let's add the midline. So one thing about the order blocks, one thing about the breaker blocks, the settings at the order blocks will reflect at the breaker blocks. Why? Because a breaker block is just an order block that's been invalidated and we had a retest on it. Like you can see here, order block was created, price broke through, it became a breaker block, retest, and price went up. Same right over here, breaker block, breakthrough, retest, price went up. And if you want to see more, like I said, breaker blocks, then you need to change your sensitivity right over here at order block. Put it a little bit higher, let's see what happens. You see now that disappeared. Show historic zones, then it will show all the other ones. There we go. So here's a nice example. Let's just put it on 3 again, like how it was. There we go. And now you can see it's plotting out now it's plotting out breaker blocks. You can see here, order block was created, price came through, had a quick retest right over here, went down, and we're still currently in this zone. Same with right over here. Order block was created, didn't respect, it becomes a breaker block, retest, and we had a reaction right over here. And vice versa, you can go play around with the settings. Let's add another one. Let's take the breaker blocks off. Let's say you're only looking for liquidity grabs. Now you'll see these little dots that's been displayed. That is pointing out your liquidity grabs. Liquidity grabs. Here you see as well, liquidity has been taken. So this is where you need to play around with your time frames and definitely your settings. So here you can change your settings on liquidity grabs. If you go, for example, on the 1 minute, for example, here you can see this high was taken out, liquidity grab. This high was taken out, liquidity grab. This low right over here was taken out, they indicate liquidity grab. This high was taken out right over there, indicate liquidity grab. So this is one thing that I like a lot. Time frames. You will see in a moment how all of this makes so much sense. So I like to keep the time frame, the first one on the chart that I am. Let's say for the next chart I want it to be a 1 hour and I want it to be the 15-minute, for example, then I enable it. Now I will come back to this and then everything will make sense. Now let's say, for example, you're someone that's struggling with market structure. Here you can change your settings to the swing length, and then as well you can add break of structure, chalk, and chalk plus. So it's basically market structure shift. You can put in your equal highs, equal lows, and then it will look something like this. So now instead of you drawing out your break of structure and your market structure shifts, this is drawing it out for you. So if you go back, you can literally see how this draws it out for you. Look how close we were as well with all of these lines, with the liquidity grabs, how beautifully they line up with the indicator. So this is the market structure section on the price action toolkit. If you like this indicator so far, link is in the description. Go have a look at Flux charts on their website. Look what it's all about. Here we can enable buy side and sell side liquidity. We can add premium and discount zones. So here you can see, for example, from this high to this low, it draws out your premium zone, your equilibrium, that's your 50%, and your discount zone. So it takes the range and it divides it up into premium, equilibrium, and discount. I like this buy side and sell side liquidity as well. So it shows you where the liquidity is resting. All of this on one indicator. Let's take it a step further. Remember those time frames that I showed you? This is already in play. So what do I mean by that? Let's say I want to trade inverse fair value gaps. Okay, I just want to trade inverse fair value gaps, and I maybe want to add, let's say, liquidity grabs, and I would like to add order blocks as well. I'm going to take the combined zones off. So remember these time frames, right? Remember these time frames. Chart 1 hour 15 minutes. You can play around with them like you want to. Let's just enable this again. So yes, it looks like a mess. Okay, so this is where you need to play around. So we are currently on the 1 minute. So let's say we go to the 5 minute. What this indicator will do, it will plot out your hour, your 15 minute, and your chart time frames. So to make this a lot cleaner, for example, I'm just going to show you. So this is worst case scenario. This is how your chart can look so messy if you don't know what you're doing. So now, for example, let's say I only wanted to show me 15-minute fair value gaps, right? Or order blocks, inverse fair value gaps and order blocks. That's the only thing I want them to show me. I don't want the 1 hour, and I don't want, okay, there's another 15 minute. So now I can go to the 5 minute, but it's going to show me 15-minute inverse fair value gaps and order blocks. So let's go again. Let's say I want this to be in half an hour, like a 30-minute time frame. You see how it changed. Now we can go to the 15-minute, and now it's starting to look a little bit more cleaner. We had a reaction, we in the premium zone, we had a reaction from this order block. There was a fair value gap that's not being respected, becomes an inverse fair value gap. We had a market structure shift right over here. Price came back into this 30-minute order block, and now price is coming all the way down to equilibrium. Let's say if you want to keep it more simple like me, I will literally put on like a 4-hour zone, for example. I will take off the liquidity grabs. Just to make it a little bit more cleaner, I will take the inverse fair value gaps off, for example. And now it's showing me really strong zones, the order block, And when you're inside of this order blocks, let's go to the 1 minute, for example. Here you can see we're currently in this range on the 1 minute. It's showing our sell side, our buy side, premium, equilibrium, and discount. All of this is liquidity that's resting down here. And what's beneath that? We have a big 4-hour order block that's resting right over here, this zone right over here. So price is more than likely in the future to continue to this level because all the signs are there. We got our south side, all these liquidity, it's open right over here. We're currently in a retracing phase, and there's big order blocks resting right over here. 4-hour order blocks. So you can go down and see how price respects these zones. Remember, I chose 4-hour. So here, south side had a big push down, price came up, broke through it, and we're currently in this zone right over here. So what I like about this as well, let's say for example, you want to add your sessions. Guess what? You can do it. You got the New York morning session, lunch session, and afternoon session. As for me, I like trading New York, London, and I always look for what Asia has done for the day. So let's just take some of the labels off for you, just so that you can see a little bit better. So now we have our London, Asia, and then the New York morning session that's starting right over here. So this I like a lot. Best of all as well, let's just go to the 15 minute, for example. Here you can see for today, Asia, London, New York. We want to see yesterday's daily opening, daily highs and lows. You see previous day's highs, previous day's lows. You can even put on your week, your previous week, highs and lows. See previous highs and lows, monthly. So this enables you now where the previous week's opening and close range was. So now price is more likely to revert back to these levels for another retest or a breakthrough and a retest. But this is something nice to have, just to note where these lines are, because there's also resting liquidity. For example, previous day's high, see all of those equal highs right over here. Liquidity is resting here, and as you can see how price respects the previous week's. This is the previous week's high, previous day's low. This was the previous day's low, so this was this one. Here is the high. So yeah, all of this, and best of all as well, you can even disable what you wanna have alerts on, and here you can even choose your daily open. So if you don't want the highs, you can choose your daily open on where the daily open range is, and the same with your weekly and your monthly opening price. And these are levels you can see that's being respected a lot during the month. So yes, go check out Flux charts indicators. Link is in the description. Please go have a look, browse through the website, look what there is. promise you, for me, this is helping me a lot by just simplifying my strategy that I use. So I keep it nice and simple. I like to trade with inverse fair value gaps. So I would use inverse fair value gaps, for example, by combining my own analysis and so forth. So yes, this is what I like to do. Flux charts, indicators, go have a look, links in the description. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and then I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.